Hi, it's Crystal Lynn, and welcome to Badass Butterfly Spiritual Life Coach Certification Mindset Training Program. Phew. That is a long title for a really important thing. For me, this is really important because I've built my entire life upon being a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, and I want to invite you to do the same thing. And look, I wouldn't be inviting you to do this if it weren't fun and beneficial. So I'm inviting you to join me in this new program, which is an introductory program to help you understand exactly what you need to have in place in order to become a badass butterfly spiritual life coach. Now, I've got a bunch of notes here, like notes and papers. Oh my goodness. And so I'm going to be using my notes and talking to you during, well, all of the sessions that we have coming. You're going to see me rustling papers and dealing with my notes because I love writing stuff out. I love a pen in hand and some good old paper, baby. So I want to start off by saying that, again, this program is going to help you answer the question, what do I need to have in place to become a badass butterfly spiritual life coach? Well, the first thing that I want to do is basically answer the question, what is a badass butterfly spiritual life coach? And this is important because it's a term that I came up with, and I have a very specific meaning for it. Okay, so a badass butterfly spiritual life coach is a person who has gone through some really challenging things. Doesn't matter what those things are, they were just challenging. They probably started in childhood, and they probably carried on well into adulthood. Okay. Um, you've gone through pain and trauma, and you have transformed yourself. You have overcome that pain and trauma, and you've emerged as this being who has overcome, who has been through some hard things and overcome. And that to me is a really beautiful story. That's the story of the caterpillar who transforms into the butterfly. That's really important to me. It's so important that it is a lesson that we're going to have in the near future. Okay, so I'm not going to go into detail about that right now. But this goes on because not only have you gone through things yourself, you've transformed yourself, you've healed yourself, you've done a lot of inner work. And I'm not saying that you're perfect, not at all, but you are extremely aware, and you are, and this is the important thing, you feel called to take what you've gone through, your pain, your suffering, and you feel called to help other people transform their pain and suffering as well. And this is where the life coaching comes in. So you, as the badass butterfly spiritual life coach, you've transformed from caterpillar to butterfly, and you are helping other people transform from caterpillars to butterflies. And again, I'm going to talk about that more in the future. But for right now, I want to just kind of say that I think it's really important to get clear with yourself, not necessarily today, and maybe not even over the time that we're going to be working together. But at some point, in order for you to be a life coach of any kind, you have to look at your own past, look at what you've gone through, and you have to take those dark and challenging times and learn how to speak about them in a way that helps other people, number one, recognize themselves. They have to recognize themselves in you. So for you to want to work with me as your coach, there has to be something about me that shows you who you are, or who you can become, or who you want to become. And this is an art form. This is an art. It is the art of becoming a truly badass butterfly spiritual life coach. And this is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this program. Okay, that's actually just a small portion of it. Being a life coach means telling your own story. But that's not all that it is. But that is an important part, because your story is going to help other people relate to you, as I've just said, but it's also going to be the thing that it's a part of your divine life purpose. Now, the pain and the trauma that you've experienced in your past was painful and traumatic for you. However, you know, spirit was there with you the whole time. The whole time. You were not alone. You were being witnessed by the plethora of these benevolent forces that were holding space for your survival. And this is really important because, in my perspective, you are a divine being and you have a reason for being on this earth. Part of that reason is just to live your life as you want, doing what you want and doing the best you can. But if spirit has brought you here, if fate has led you to this video, then you're also someone who is called to be of service, in service to the divine. You are going to be helping other people by virtue of the divine. Now, the divine works with everyone, okay? Everybody. Medical doctors, scientists studying how to cure cancer, teachers in school, everybody is serving the divine, okay? However, there are some of us who are aware that we are serving the divine, and that's you and me, my friend. You and I are consciously putting ourselves in a very challenging situation, because number one, it takes a great big pair of balls to say, I am in service of the divine, and I am not an ordained minister. I have not been endowed by the Pope or by a teacher. I am here because I feel that God called me here to do this work. This is big. This is really important, because who gives you the right to think that you can be of service to people? God does. God does, and thank God. Thank God that God put that in me, that seed, planted that seed, and said, hey girl, you have a choice. You can go with the flow of what I'm inviting you to do, or you can ignore it, and that would be okay too, because God is unconditionally loving. I chose to say, I feel like I'm being called to help people, and I'm going to help them spiritually and emotionally, right? And I'm not going to a university to do that. I'm going to listen to God and see what God leads me to do, okay? This is huge, and it's if you have a calling, and we're going to talk about this a lot, okay? But if you're called here, if you're watching this video, then you are probably called to be of service by the divine. And my crazy ass is going to be encouraging you to do that, and to do it in a very real and a very big way. I'm going to be encouraging you to take a risk on the divine, a calculated risk, okay? We'll be talking about that in the future as well, okay? But a risk nevertheless. And if you have the calling, I believe in that, it's real, we're going to go for that, okay? Now, again, we're going to be talking about that in the future lessons. That's what this program's all about, okay? Now, so why am I teaching you this class, all right? So my name is Crystal Lynn Bell, and I am the founder of Badass Butterfly, particularly Badass Butterfly Spiritual Life Coaching, all right? And I have created a certification program for people who want to be badass butterfly spiritual life coaches, okay? That's not what I'm talking about right now, but that's what I do, okay? I am really, really blessed to be a spiritual life coach. It was the best decision that I have made. And I'm doing this class because number one, I am naturally very ballsy. I am a risk taker, and I feel safe taking risks. I feel safe failing. I feel safe even when I have negative emotions, fear and doubt. And when people tell me I can't do something, I feel safe doing the thing that I feel called to do. That's me, and that is a gift. There are a lot of people who don't feel safe, and yet they are so valuable. They have so much to offer, and God's Spirit wants them to come forth and to go and do what God is calling them to do. They feel the calling, but they have fear, they have doubt, they don't know. And so what I'm just doing is getting y'all prepared so that you can educate yourself and take those calculated risks, okay? So I'm doing this class because I want to share myself with you. I want to share my knowledge with you, but I also am very aware that if you go on this journey, there are a lot of freaking problems that you're going to have to deal with. And I want you to be as prepared as possible. Now, do not think that I am suggesting that you are 100% prepared before you launch yourself. Nope, that's not the way Spirit works. Spirit, when it calls you, it's going to be like, okay, now is when you go. And you might be 100% prepared. That would be cool, but most likely you're not going to be 100% prepared. You're most likely not even going to be 50% prepared. You might be only 20% prepared, and that is okay. The things that I'm going to be teaching you over our time together, this is going to help you be as prepared as you need to be, and it's going to help you be prepared in a way that is super, super safe for your soul, therefore super safe for your mind, and super safe for your body, okay? So I'm going to be giving you some really important foundational things so that you can have a nice big overview of what you need. So then that once you have that overview, you can then be prepared to make the next steps to make your dream of becoming a badass butterfly spiritual life coach a reality, okay? Now, I want to talk to you about some of those problems, and I'm not going to go into great detail about them right now because, of course, That's what the program is for. But I just kind of want to give you a little bit of an overview so that you understand what it means to be a spiritual life coach. Look at Apollo scratching him ear. Oh, my sweetie. I love my dog. That's Apollo, by the way. If you all don't know Apollo, he's my little Greek street hound. I found him in Greece when he was just 4 months old. Now he's 4 years old. We have traveled quite a lot together, and he's my little boo-boo. And he's in my logo. You've probably seen him in my logo. And now he's in my background. All right, so what does it take? Okay, again, this program is answering the question, what do I need to have in place to become a badass butterfly spiritual life coach? Okay, and I want to talk to you now about what some of the problems are that you're going to encounter as you try to become a badass butterfly spiritual life coach. Now, a lot of the problems, okay, some of the problems are spiritual. And you think, well, what are spiritual problems? Spirit is about supporting us and uplifting us. Well, there are also some issues that go along with spirit. So, for example, I am an Aquarius with an Aquarius rising, and I have the moon in Virgo. The problem spiritually for me, well, the benefit is that I have a very open mind, a very open crown chakra, and I have a lot of access to the divine feminine, okay? Now, you too, probably, if you're here, you have a lot of access to the divine feminine, okay? And that's a benefit. That's good. The problem is that with all that access to the divine feminine, you might have some issues getting stuff done. You might have issues following through with some things. You might have some issues with getting grounded, sticking to the program. You might have some issues because you get so many ideas and you don't know what to do with them. All of these things that I'm talking about are problems, energetic or spiritual problems, okay? So as much as the divine feminine is about having a wonderful connection with spirit and the unseen world and beautiful energy and flowers and feminine beauty and grace, it's also about being some wild ass energy. Let's face it, the divine feminine, she's not somebody you fuck with and you don't take her lightly. The goddess is powerful. She is raw energy. We can think of the goddess, we can think of Lilith, okay? We can think of Venus, all right? If you're on the wrong side of Venus, she will squash you like a grape and she will look beautiful doing it, and she will do it with a perfectly manicured thumbnail, okay? So my point is that even though we're talking about spirituality, we have to understand that as much beauty and positivity comes along with spirituality, there are some issues that we have to deal with that are problematic. And what I just spoken about, for example, not being able to follow through, having too many ideas, not being realistic, not knowing how to get grounded, all of that stuff is a problem, okay? And if you're going to be a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, you have to know how to work with the feminine, and you have to know how to ground that stuff, okay? We're going to be talking about that in the program, all right? Now, another problem is the other side, okay? The problem of being too masculine. Now, for me, the divine masculine and the divine feminine are both equally wonderful, benevolent, wonderful, happy energies. Thank God for both of them, okay? One is not better than the other. Both have their benefits and both have their problems. The divine masculine we can kind of think about as being like our logical self, our rational self, that part of us that likes to organize, the part that provides structure, the part that takes action, and does it in a systematic way. Okay, those are the benefits of divine masculine energy. And then, of course, the problems are being too masculine, where we cut out the feminine. We don't use our feminine nature. We become dictatorial. We become rigid and dogmatic. Okay, these are problems that go along with the divine masculine. We don't want to do away with the divine masculine, like, oh, we don't do divine masculine. No, we need both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. We're going to be talking about that and how to do that as a badass butterfly spiritual life coach. That is what makes being a badass butterfly spiritual life coach so special, is that we use both. We use the feminine for the creativity and for the tremendous substance and the wonderful depth and the feeling nature, and that dark, beautiful exploration of pain, okay? That Lilith, dark goddess energy, that Kali energy, even destruction. How do we honor that beautiful feminine and help people? How do we uplift and hold space for light and help people ascend? Okay, we also use that feminine, that God energy, that the masculine energy. It can be any god that we want. We can think about Pan, we can think about Zeus, we can think about Apollo, right? We can think about all that wonderful masculine energy. How do we bring those together with the feminine so that we can benefit ourselves, have good health, good clear mind, good clear emotional exchanges, and good clear energy, and help people, right? How do we do that? That's what this program is all about, okay? The other issues, okay, there are a whole bunch of issues. I got a page of them, but I'm going to speed along because I don't want to keep you all here all day. And by the way, you're going to hear me right now. The videos that we're going to be doing in this program are going to be short. I will not be going on for an hour in those videos. I will not. Watch me. I'm keeping my word to myself and to you. 10 to 15 minutes for the videos. That's it. All right. Boom. Okay. Now, this is the exception because this is the intro, and I only just made the promise 1 minute ago. So boom, this video does not count, but all the future videos, yes. Okay. Now, the other issues are, that you face as a life coach, is that being a life coach means that you have to have clients, you have to have customers, you have to know how to bring clients to you on a consistent basis, because you are a business owner. You are responsible. You don't have a boss anymore. You don't have somebody who has figured it all out. You have to figure it out, okay? Another problem is, how do you even run a business? This is a small business, and you're going to most likely do it from your own home. You can do it from your bedroom. You can do it from your kitchen. You can do it from your garage. You can do it from your extra room, your office. It doesn't matter where you do it from, because you can do it. You can do it from your phone, okay? But you have to know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, then you're going to have problems. Okay. And that's why I'm here. And this is why I've created this program, so that you can know what the problems are ahead of time, and you don't have to suffer and not know how to take care of yourself, and not know how to take care of your business. Okay. You have to know how to coach people. And everybody, oh my gosh, so many people come into me and they're like, oh yeah, I can coach people. I'm like, have you ever coached anybody? And they're like, well, no, but I talk to my friends all the time on the phone. It is not the same thing. Coaching people as a professional, okay, is not the same as coaching your friends on the phone, totally not the same thing. All right. So that's an issue. And again, something to think about as you're thinking about becoming a spiritual life coach. You have to learn. And all these things that I'm saying, by the way, if you don't know them today, that's okay. But you need to know that you don't know them. Why? So that you can learn them. The whole point is that all of this stuff that I'm going to be teaching you is totally learnable. And that is what you're going to be doing. Okay. Learning. All right. Social media. Okay. People are on social media trying to get likes, and that is not what it's about. Okay. But you need to learn what social media is really about and how you can use it to help you help other people. And that's what social media is about, in my opinion. We'll be talking more about that stuff though. You have to also, if you're going to be a life coach, you have to know how to build an email list and how to build an email funnel. And let me tell you something, that is not just obvious. That is not written into our DNA. I'm just saying you got to learn all this stuff. All right. Right now, here's this other thing. I wrote this out. It's a little bit long. So one of the other problems of being a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, okay, you have your own business, you work for yourself, you have to figure out how to bring in consistent income, okay? And all those things, fine. Those things are learnable, no problem. You don't know it now, don't worry about it. You'll learn it, and then you'll be able to be a life coach, okay? The problem though is that emotionally, and this is kind of the toughest part. This is even harder than learning how to build your client list. It's being able to handle your own negative emotions when they arise at a time when you are not prepared for them. So look, you're going to fail at some things. And I'm not saying that you are going to be a failure in your life, like, oh, you're going to die and on your tombstone it says failure. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean though is that there are going to be some things that you do and it's not going to go the way you wanted it to do, and it's going to feel like failure. And if you're smart, you're going to have a lot of those things because you take a lot of risks and you are learning. You are in learning mode. You're not a perfectionist. You're not just trying to get shit perfect. You're not trying to get one thing perfect and then you move on. You're trying to do the things that you need to do, which means that you're going to be doing a lot of things and taking a lot of risks. And sometimes you're going to fail. Okay. When that failure comes, you got to know how to deal with it. Okay. And I'm not talking about, and there's going to be fears that come up, doubt will come up, and you have to figure out how to manage yourself and keep going. You don't get to collapse under anxiety. You don't get to hide behind, I was diagnosed when I was a kid with blah, blah, blah. And so I can't do that. Okay. If spirit says you're going to do that, then you got to do that. So you got to figure out how to come out from under those negative mindsets and those negative emotions. Okay. And keeping in mind that as I started off this call, or this video, I said that you're called by spirit. Spirit is going to be the one who endows you with authority to be a life coach. All right. And to the outside world, someone on the outside who doesn't get this, they can be like questioning you, challenging you. And that can be really threatening and scary. And you have to know how to stand up under that pressure that comes from outside. But then there's also the pressure that comes from the inside, like imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome says, who do you think you are that you can actually go out and coach people? Who do you think you are? Okay, that's you telling you. Okay, so my point is This is a problem that's going to come up. You got to know how to deal with that before it comes up. That's what I suggest. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Okay. Right now, my job is to help my people, you. Okay. Oh, well, okay. Sorry. Let me look. I'm looking at my notes. Hold on. Oh, okay. So my job is to help you become a badass butterfly spiritual life coach, right? That's my ultimate job. So in the program, I'm going to be teaching you about the 3 pillars that you really need to have in place to be able to do this. Okay. And with each of those pillars, there are 9 keys. And so we're going to be talking about those 3 pillars and the 9 keys so that you are solid. When you finish this program, you are going to know exactly everything you need to have in place in order to call yourself a badass butterfly spiritual life coach. Now, please keep in mind, we're not doing all those things. We couldn't do all those things in just a few lessons. But let me tell you, when you knowledge is power. So when you know what it is you need, we're going to have it all laid out. And then all you got to do is go here and do that, go there and do that, go there and do that, and go there and do that, right? It's going to be just like that. It'll be like, okay, I need to do this, then I need to do that. That's what we want. All right. That is it. 32 minutes. Okay, this was a little bit long. We're going to be keeping the other videos shorter. Don't worry, I got your back. Now, let me just very quickly tell you how the program is going to work. I am going to be going live Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, starting next Monday. Okay, you can join me live or you can watch the replay. Now, during those live sessions, I'm going to be talking to you about, and you're going to have a workbook every week. So there's a workbook for every week. You should download that. If you want to print it, you can print it. Or the workbooks are write-inable because I have 2 awesome virtual assistants and they know how to do write-inable worksheets. I love it. So you can write directly into the worksheets, or you can write in your journal, or you can print them out and write on them directly. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. Right? So I will be going live 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I'm going to be giving you the teaching. All right. The information is going to be on the curriculum here. So the information will be on the curriculum, the workbook will be there, and I will be talking about what's in the workbook, elaborating, going into more detail to help inspire you, to help you understand, right? And if you can do the information, like do the workbooks every week, that will help you integrate the learning that I'm going to be giving. Okay, so the workbook is basically going to be filled with questions and exercises to help you start bringing in as much of the information as possible so that you can use it and we can start getting you aligned with the energy for the teaching. All right. Anyway, so Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 6 o'clock in my zone. So that is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will go live. And if you can join me live, great. I will be talking for about no more than 15 minutes. And then I'm going to open up the call for questions and coaching. If no one is on the call, then that's going to be it for the day. It'll just be 15 minutes. If people are on the call, the call will go longer. You don't have to feel obligated to watch the live. I mean, to be on the live stream. You should watch the live because that's where I'm going to be doing the teaching. Okay, but you don't have to be on it live unless you want, unless you have questions or if you have you want coaching. And there will also be a questions thread where you can add your questions every week. Okay, so if you have questions, there is going to be a form that you can fill out. I will get those questions and I will answer the questions during the live stream. Okay, all these details are written out. So if I know I'm not being super concise with this because I'm just talking off the top of my head, not looking at my notes for this, but all of this is already written out. You'll find that in the following lessons, okay? And I think that's all I have to say. Oh, last thing I need to say is that it would be great if you are in the League of Badass Butterflies Facebook group. If you're already in there, great. We will be sharing our work in that group. I will be doing some extra bonus things in that group. And so come and join us if you're not there. There's a link for that in the lesson, the curriculum as well. Okay. Now, that's all she has to say. And thanks so much for joining me. I'm really glad you're here. I look forward to meeting you either on one of the live streams or in the Facebook group. Now, if you are already feeling called to become a spiritual life coach and you want to talk to me about that right now, you can book yourself in for a complimentary discovery session, okay? But I want to warn you, if you're not ready to jump in, then don't book that discovery session. Wait until you're actually ready to make a decision about it, because number one, you only get one complimentary discovery session with me. And number two, if you have just questions that you want answered, just shoot me an email or ask them during the live stream or put them in the question thread. Don't actually book yourself in if you just want some information, because I have tons of information about becoming a life coach on my website. You can always you'll find everything there. My website is something like 30 pages long, just the sales page for the certification program. So there's a lot of information there. Okay. All right. And so if you want that link, if you're ready to actually, enroll and dive in, then you can book yourself in for a discovery call. No problem. There's a link for that in each of the modules. You'll find a link for that. All right, my friend, thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you soon. Crystalline signing off here. Anna Polo. Bye for now. Bye.